Hello, I'm Lee Bernick, Dean of the Greenspan College of Urban Affairs, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Urban Report. We have three very interesting people here today, and my first guest is Joe Brown. Welcome, Joe, to the Urban Report.
Nice to be here.
I have to, in the interest of making sure that we're honest and clear about all this, Joe is does a show for us on KUNV, right?
That's correct.
And what's the name of the show, Joe?
Point of View.
Point of View. And Joe is a long-time native of, not a native, excuse me, long-time Nevadan.
Yes.
And when did you move out here?
1968.
1968 with your wife Pam, right?
That's correct.
And Pam was a teacher?
Pam came out, she taught school here, yes.
Taught school. And what brought you out to Las Vegas?
I had just finished law school and was considering options of where to live. My family lived in Florida at the time and hers in Nashville, Tennessee, and we decided we'd strike out on our own somewhere. And out of the blue came this wild offer to go to Las Vegas. Neither one of us had been west of the Mississippi River, and so it was tantalizing. And after much consideration and back and forth with the judge who had offered me the job, we decided that we would come only for 1 year and then get serious about life the next year.
But that was somewhat 40-some years ago.
44 years ago.
44 years ago.
Next month, yes.
And who was the judge that offered you a job?
Alvin Wortman, Judge Alvin Wortman.
And he asked you to...
He was a law school graduate of Washington and Lee University, where I went to law school, and he called the dean's secretary, who was this wonderful lady, and asked her who she thought would be adventurous enough in the graduating class that he might talk into coming out.
Okay.
And she fingered me.
She fingered you, and you were adventurous enough, and you came out here.
Yes.
And you started practicing. Did you start practicing right away?
No, I worked for the judge for 1 year.
You clerked for the judge.
I clerked back in those days, a residency requirement. If you were coming in from out of state, you had to be here 6 months minimum before the bar exams were given, and they were given too short, there wasn't enough time. They were given in September, so I'd have only been here 3 or 4 months when they were given, so I had to wait for another full year. So it was about 15 months before I could take the bar.
Okay. And then you passed the bar,
yes,
and you started practicing, but you're now president of a fairly prominent law firm, Jones Vargas, right?
Yes.
But you didn't start with...
No, I started with a firm called Laxalt, Bell, Berry, Allison, and LeBaron, and it was a Carson City firm that Governor
Laxalt.
Paul Laxalt was the sitting governor at the time. His brother, Peter Laxalt, was a member of the firm, and they were hired by Howard Hughes, Bob Mayhew, etc., to do all the legal work, or quite a bit of the legal work, in Nevada. And so I was lucky enough to be asked if I wanted to stay around Nevada another year and go to work for this law firm, and it was just too great to turn down. Okay.
And so you worked with Paul Laxalt and his brother and everything. I want to come back. I'll come back to that in a minute. But I want to talk. You were at Washington and Lee for law school. Before going to Washington and Lee, though, you were at UVA, right?
Right.
And that's a special place, I think, for you and lots of people who go there. If our guests don't know, UVA was the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, and it was designed by Thomas Jefferson.
That's correct.
And I want to show a picture of a special place on here. There's a picture of the lawn, right, as it was in the 1800s, designed by Thomas Jefferson. And we see the rotunda in the back. And what's interesting about this, is that the students lived in those buildings.
Yes, the larger buildings were called pavilions, and the professors lived there in those and held classes in them for their students. The students lived in the low rises in between.
Okay, let's show up with another picture. We have a picture of the west side, and that's the side that, if we can bring up right? And this is what you're talking about. These are the dorms.
I lived, well, they wouldn't call them dorms.
They wouldn't call them dorms, that's
No,
right.
But I was lucky enough to be one of the 58 people that was picked to live in one of those rooms. I lived in room 41 West Lawn, on the west side of the lawn.
Okay. And those rooms have been, people have been living in those rooms since
1819.
1819, and every year a senior gets to live in there. How
Yes.
many did you say were in?
58.
58. So you're one of 58 of all the students, the seniors at UVA.
That's right.
And I think when you went there, it was sort of, I don't want to bring it was only for men at the time, isn't
That's
that right?
correct. That's right.
Now, women.
But I think, I'm not positive of this, but I think that not all of those who lived there were undergrads. I think there were some
grad students?
grad students that were there, but the majority of them were,
Well, I think now,
undergrads.
yeah, I think now, if I was reading it because I wanted to see about this, and I saw your name, is that you have to be a senior.
yes,
Only seniors can live.
yes. They call them fourth yearmen.
Fourth yearmen.
Yes, and it's not the grounds. It's not the campus. It's the grounds. They have their
Okay.
own language. you know.
Okay, I got to get the language
And
down.
it's the university, Mr.
Yes.
Jefferson's University.
That's right. It's Mr. Jefferson's University.
That's correct.
Okay, and a great place.
Mhm.
And you had a very special time there and got to live in those rooms.
Mhm.
And that. I just have a few more minutes. This goes by way too fast.
Mhm.
But I know that you had a affinity or a relationship also with Hank Greenspun. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, when I first came here, I was a tennis player. I was never any great tennis player, but I enjoyed playing, having lived in Fort Lauderdale, Florida since I was in the 8th grade. And there was a lot of tennis being played there. So I couldn't believe it, but I met the governor after I'd only been here about a month, and he asked me all about myself, and I said I played tennis, and it was within about a month or so after that I saw him again, and he asked me if I was playing any tennis, and I said I haven't met anybody that plays yet, and he said, well, I've got my racket, let's play. So I was playing tennis with the governor within about 3 months of being in the state, and then a group of us, about a year after that, we're all playing over at the Las Vegas Country Club. And on Sundays, the Greenspuns, Hank and Barbara, were almost always there on Sunday mornings for mixed doubles. And so I was very fortunate back then to be befriended by Hank and Barbara, and Jerry and Joyce Mack and Peggy Thomas and Kirk Kerkorian and a lot of famous people in this town.
Yeah, well, you're famous. You know, I think people know you, and you know, one of the things that we've had a very short time. Our time is almost up, but I want to have you back because, in fact, you do know a lot of the history of the community, and when we talk about Vegas, and we're talking about the people that you know.
I think it's wonderful what the Greenspuns have done with this school and all these facilities.
Well, we're very happy. We're always excited to talk about the Greenspuns, and we're happy that you're with us at KUNV and you bring in interesting guests to help the community and to talk about interesting things. And I'm really happy that we're able to have you here at the Urban Report. I hope to have you here some more.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you again. I want to shift off to and take a break here for before our next guest comes in. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Just like the Air Force Thunderbird pilot I flew with, I have to make split-second decisions as a top fuel driver. Hi, I'm Brandon Bernstein, driver for Kenny Bernstein's 2010 Copart Lucas Oil Top Fuel Dragster. To make it in the NHRA, I've had to work hard, stay focused, and make smart decisions along the way. To reach your goals, you need to think straight, stay on track, and give your very best effort in everything you do. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
I want to welcome you back to another segment of the Urban Report. And in this time, we're lucky to have DJ Allen, right, and who is the Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Relations. And senior meaning not old, you're a young man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So what does the Senior Associate Athletic Director for External Relations do?
Well, we try to get people excited about the Rebels and all Rebel athletics and helping our student athletes. So if it's from the marketing or the communications or community outreach or broadcasting, that's what our group oversees. Basically, we try to make people Rebel fans and give them good reasons to be.
Well, we are Rebel fans here, of course. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, I know a little bit, but why don't you let the audience know? You're from here.
I'm from here. I'm born and raised here. I'm one of the 4 people. That's the jokes.
Yeah.
But grew up a huge Rebel fan, huge sports fan. And when I was in middle school, I was running pep rallies in my in the cafeteria while the Rebels were in the Final Four. So somehow a few years later, all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're kind of doing pep rallies for the Valley. But met my wife going to UNLV, had my undergrad from here, my MBA from here, opened up a PR and advertising firm about 10 years ago, and now got involved with UNLV athletics and really excited to be involved with what's going on with UNLV right now. Not just athletics, but UNLV as a whole right now. Amazing things are happening.
Well, you know, we had a down period and a down period at the university, but we really do think that things are moving up. Things are changing, and in that kind of atmosphere of change, we're part of the Mountain West,
yes,
and that certainly is changing too. Do you want to talk about some of those changes too in the Mountain West?
Yeah, well, it's changing, and just the whole scope of college athletics nationally has changed. And obviously we had so much success in the Mountain West and had some really good schools that were in the league who we were kind of the one league that a lot of people came to come and get their next members of their league. But it's a strong enough league, and I think UNLV is a big part of it. UNLV, you know, we look at things and understand there's a lot of things out of our control, whether it's TV, the other conferences. But if we're going to be in the Mountain West, we don't want to just be in the Mountain West. We want to be the university that's in the Mountain West. And I think that's the attitude that we're taking right now. And you're seeing a lot of things on the uptick right now with the athletic department, not just basketball, we're just focusing on the basketball program, but throughout the department. I think Jim Livengood, our athletic director, has done a fabulous job over the last couple years. And we're going to be in the Mountain West, and we're not just going to be in it, we want to be the leader.
Yeah. Well, you know, you mentioned Jim. Jim Livengood is the athletic director. He came here from Arizona and had a history of success at Arizona, right? And so I know Jim, and I think he's building a successful program.
He has from the bottom up, too. I think a lot of people from the outside, you kind of see the wins and losses, and obviously have seen the rise of the basketball program over the last 5 or 6 years, but really the explosion, obviously, of basketball in the past year. But so much is Jim Livengood, you know, just coming in and the experiences that he had with a Pac-10 school, now a Pac-12 school. But he understands what it takes to have an athletic department that's successful. Not one team, not one program, but an entire department. And I think the thing that we're most excited about is our relationship with the university.
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt you here for a second. I want to talk about that relationship. One of the things that we have had over and this is part of how I know Jim and you, is that you've worked with our UNLV-TV production and with our students. And I want to show a clip. This is a little clip of, we covered a baseball game. We did a baseball game, and we did a softball game. And we have a student doing a report of, as if it were part of our Studio G, the student news show. And let me see if we can roll this and show the quality of our reporting, and then also the quality of the television, because we want to talk about that too for a second. So can we show the clip here?
Hi, I'm Brittany Arrington, and I have your sports update. Here we go with baseball. UCR and UNLV. UNLV coming off a 10-1 beatdown of UCR, and the Highlanders looking for revenge. Mitch Petito got it going early as he fans Trent Cook. Get out of here. Gets Trevor Kirk looking absolutely ridiculous and tells Daniel Higa to grab some bench. Petito also benefited from great defense. Bottom of the third, UNLV with 2 on and 1 out. The hit and run is on, and it would cost them. Mark Shannon lines out to Young, who steps on second for the double play, and the threat is done. Top of the fifth, John Ritchie pitching for UNLV, 2 on for the Highlanders, and Cody Huff puts it through to the first base side for an RBI single. Next batter is Young, and he's going to knock it through for another base hit. Runner scores, and it's a 4-0 UCR lead. Moving to the bottom of the ninth, 2 on, and Cole Wilstead at the plate has a chance to be a hero, but hits a weak dribbler to Clayton Prestridge, who steps on the bag for the final out. And UNLV drops this one 5-2. Sorry, guys. Moving to softball. UNLV playing the first of a 3-game set with Colorado State in Las Vegas. It's the 4th inning, and the bases are loaded for Shea Rodriguez, and Shea knows what to do with it. Grand slam! Say goodbye to the ball and hello to the 4-0 lead over the Rebels. The Rams go wild. Get it, Shea. UNLV looking to recover. It's the bottom of the 6th, 2 on and 2 outs, and J.K. Balalea is up to bat. Casey McCartney is looking to end the threat. Strikes out Balalea to end the inning. And the Rams go on to win this one 5-2. Well, that's all we have for sports today. I'll see you next time. I'm Brittany Arrington.
So, DJ, we lost those 2 games.
We need to do a better job of scheduling games and us delivering on our part, because your team delivered. The quality was phenomenal.
Yeah, we really were quite pleased. I hope the athletic department was pleased
Absolutely.
with it. Neither one of us liked the outcome. We want to win all the time. As good Rebel fans, we want to win. But what I think this does is it shows the kind of quality of the camera work and the work that the students were doing, and what we can do as a team,
Yes.
both the athletic department and the College of Urban Affairs, in terms of producing things. We want to work with the athletic department, and we think it's a real opportunity.
It's an amazing opportunity. You look at the quality, and when people think about our student athletes and on TV, a lot of times they think about maybe football and men's basketball, but we just saw baseball, we saw softball. There's so many opportunities for our sports to receive more coverage, and working with the school here, and I'm a graduate of the school, working with the school here is a phenomenal opportunity, not only for us to get coverage, but most importantly for our students in this school to get real life experience. That's top-notch quality right there.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience. Oscar Belfield was one of the camera people. It was a great experience, and we have to unfortunately take a break, and I want to thank you for coming over to the Urban Report. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Savings Man here with a story for you about 2 young spenders named Tommy and Sue. Their parents let them buy whatever they chose, like video games and designer clothes. As they grew older, they spent all their pay on fancy cars, houses, 2 lattes a day. They lived in the moment, never saving a dime. When they tried to retire, they'd run out of time. Working forever is Tom and Sue's fate, so choose to save now before it's too late. Visit our website to find out more, 'cause a happy ending's worth saving for.
Welcome back to the Urban Report. Our next guest is another integral part of the university. He's Jim Radigan. Welcome to the show, to the Urban Report. Jim is the Vice President for Alumni Relations and the Executive Director. Is that the correct title?
Associate Vice President.
Associate.
I wouldn't want to get anybody upset.
All right.
A promotion that I didn't deserve.
Okay. So. We don't want to get anybody, so it's Associate Vice President, right? And Executive Director.
Executive Director of the UNLV Alumni Association.
Okay, and so we're going to talk about the Alumni Association. There's a number of things that I want to talk to you about, but why don't you just briefly describe what the association is about and why we have an Alumni Association. Can you touch on that for a second?
Absolutely. The Alumni Association, as its main mission, is to keep alumni connected with the university. And we try to do that through engagement, which allows alumni to participate at whatever level they want with the university, whether it be mentoring students, attending events that we put on, and just giving back to the students in terms of scholarships and things like that. We also like to communicate with them to let them know what's going on at the university. It's a very vibrant environment out here, and so many things are going on in the different colleges and things that a lot of people really don't know all that's happening out here. So our mission really is to try to get that word out to them.
Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, you're an alumnus of the...
I am an alum. I graduated here in, should I say, in 1978, so that kind of dates me back in the years there. But I've been a running Rebel ever since I graduated, and I'm just glad to be here.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit more about some more of the Alumni Association events. I know just recently I went to a luncheon, I think it was, for the Rebel Business Network. We just started that. Is that right? Can you talk about the Business Network?
Absolutely. And the Rebel Business Network that the Alumni Association is putting on basically was intended to start with the concept of alumni should be helping alumni. And so the Rebel Business Network came about with an opportunity for alumni who own businesses and provide services to be included in a directory listing for other alumni to look up and utilize those services and products that they offer. In addition to that, it has two other legs of the stool, if you will. One of that is networking opportunities for the businesses to get together and kind of talk about what they can do to help each other. And the third leg, probably one of the more important ones, is Hire a Rebel campaign. We have a lot of graduates that are graduating here and needing jobs, and so we would like those Rebel businesses to hire them. So,
okay. So it has a direct payoff to the most recent graduates. We're trying to get people to hire our graduates.
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay. And at this event, I thought it was a big success. I mean, I think you may have told me at the event how many people that we had. We started out with. You were concerned about how many people were going to...
Well, yeah, we had an expectation of 40 to 50, and we ended up with 220. And a lot more folks who would have loved to have been there but couldn't be there. We are having an event tonight, for example, a network mixer at Rumors, and we have already got 150 RSVPs for that event. So I think it's a time that has come. I think there's been a lot of pent-up demand. What we've heard from a lot of folks is, why haven't we done this before? And we are getting it started right now. And one of the other things we're working really hard on is working with trying to get internships for a lot of students out there, so that it'll help businesses get to meet and greet some of their future employees.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, how many alumni do we have that are members of the association?
Well, technically, members of the association, there's 100,000. And we have another organization within the Alumni Association called the Scarlet and Gray Club. And that's for those members who pay dues right now, and we have roughly 3,000.
Okay, so we have 3,000 dues-paying members.
Correct.
And what are some of the benefits for them besides, are there tangible benefits? The most important benefit is to support the university.
Correct. And for members, we do quite a number of events in affiliation with the athletic department, pregame tailgates for football, pregame for basketball, baseball events, and so forth. As dues-paying members, typically their fees for attending those events are free or very minimal compared to non-dues-paying members.
Right.
For example, we have a number of non-athletic events that dues-paying members get benefits for, such as the performing theater arts has special discounts for our members and so forth. So there's a lot of benefits out there that accrue to dues-paying members.
You mentioned the athletic events, and of course, I think that's one of the big things for our alumni is that I know before football games you have a tailgate party. I guess it's called a tailgate party. It's not by a car, but it's a tailgate party, and you've done these things at TAM before basketball games. Right. Great turnouts, at least, and a lot of fun on it.
Well, and I think probably what's happened the most in the last couple of years here has been the relationship that we've had with the athletic department. And again, Jim Livengood, I can't say enough about an athletic director who basically believes that academics and athletics go hand in hand, and that whatever we needed from the athletic department we would get. So he's had coaches attend all of our events, and you know, our alumni love to hear from coaches and players, and so having them attend our events has been a real great boost to our attendance. And point of fact, I think we're getting to a point where we're going to have to sit down with the athletic department, see if we can't do a combined event at a different venue, because we're just overrunning the TAM Center right now. We can handle about 350 people, and we've been averaging about 400 to 500 people at events there. Okay. So I think that's good news. As they say, it's a nice problem to have. Right.
Well, we're glad that you're here, and I want to thank you. We're glad that you're here on the show, and we're glad you're here at UNLV. And we are great supporters of the Alumni Association, and I want to thank everyone for watching the Urban Report. We appreciate you viewing this show. Thank you.